Having completed up to the beginning of this year more than 200 studies for engineering retrofits, having completed more than 150 installations on board ships based on our studies, and having completed almost 100 supervisions of installations from our engineers, we decided that it's a time to discuss a little bit about some troublemaking causes. The first and most important thing is that a lot of our clients are selecting the system without doing any study, any feasibility study. They simply check the cost. So we have serious issues in a big number of our studies where practically the system cannot fit inside the ship. And this creates delays, creates modifications, and definitely has an effect to the cost of the installation. The second, and again very popular issue, is the much delayed decisions. Almost on a daily basis, we receive telephone calls from superintendent engineers, from technical managers, from our clients, or from new companies and new prospective clients that they have to install a system within the next 2 months. And it's really difficult to tell them and to persuade them that practically they don't have time, or at least we don't have time, or we do not have enough time to do any decent study and for themselves to do a proper preparation. Very important issue is superintendent engineers' preparation gaps. As the other speaker said, we have installations of scrubbers, we have installation of Panama Canal modifications, we have typical works of a special survey, and all these have to be supervised by and organized by one superintendent engineer. And usually, the superintendent engineer has not enough time to focus on everything. One of the biggest mistakes that still exist, and we still receive opinions from clients, is that ballast water treatment system retrofit is practically pipeworks. It's not. Definitely it's not. We have cases that some of our clients decided to install pipes 1 year ago. They have done that, they have installed the pipes, they have installed the equipment. However, 1 year later, they are still trying to complete the installation because it's not only pipes. It's cables, it's foundation, it's interlocks, there are many more. One very challenging issue, because it's related to the cost of the installation, is owner-supplied items. In our studies, we are giving a bill of materials, and in many cases, the clients decide to buy some things themselves and send to the shipyard or to where the installation will take place. For example, cables, breakers, valves, many different things. Unfortunately, we are facing delays on the installation because of missing equipment, or because of misunderstandings, or because we are running around the ship in order to find where is this bloody valve, who was bought by the superintendent engineer and was received by the chief engineer, who is now not on board the ship because has been replaced by a new chief engineer. So there is a lot of logistics involved in this whole process. The problem is that we have a lot of jobs taking place simultaneously. Actually, we were expecting that. And the shipyards have a lot of job, they do not have enough people, and that means to delay, and delay always has an effect to the quality. So we need to have a proper supervision. But unfortunately, in most of the cases, there is no supervision of the works at all. This results not only to poor quality, but to installation mistakes that may affect the proper operation of the system. I would like to speak a little bit more about this. When the system is installed, it has to be commissioned by commissioning engineers of the maker. Usually, the makers require 5 days, 1 week with 2 people, provided that installation works have been completed. In 99% of the cases, this does not happen. Why? Because there are delays on the installation works, because the ship has to go, because there is a new charter, because many different things. So practically, the poor superintendent engineer cares only to receive the certificate. So we are doing some tests just to check that the system runs, which may take a couple of hours. However, this is not a full testing of the system, and many of the commissioning requirements are done in a hurry. This may also affect the proper operation of the system the following years. One of the biggest issues in the ballast water treatment retrofits is that the crew is not involved in the process. I usually say that I was on board the retrofit a couple of years ago, and when the ship was ready to sail, the chief engineer was asking me which valve have to open, They didn't know about the arrangement, they didn't know about the operation, they didn't know about the valve. And of course, this thing makes the crew and the captain of the ship nervous a couple of days before departure from the shipyard. So, unfortunately, when the ship leaves, I think less than 5% of the ship's crew know what is done on board the ship. And even less than this 5% knows how to operate the system. This is a big discussion. Cut engineering cost. We are facing continuously the pressure from our clients to cut our costs, to reduce our expenses, and we can do that. But the question is what we deliver. Unfortunately, only a few clients are very interested on the deliverables of each study. Study can be very big, study can be smaller, study can simply cover the approval requirements. But there are many details, and on the details is based the proper operation of the system, is based the cost of the installation, and is based the time required to do the retrofit installation. So, we are, let's say, not exactly at the middle, but we are at the time that the biggest amount of retrofits is taking place. What about the day after? One very important thing, there are flag administrations that require environmental performance tests to take place during commissioning. This means that the efficacy of the system has to be verified before the ship leaves at the shipyard, before the commissioning completion. Otherwise, no certificate will be issued by the class on behalf of the flag administration. So we have to do tests in order to prove that the system is doing the job that is required to do. It has to kill the microorganisms. Otherwise, we don't have certificates. And this is a big discussion and will take a lot of time and costs and most probably delays, additional ones. Still, there are many clients that they do not use their systems. Our friends here from Alfa Laval or Irma First can tell you that they have requests to start up a system that has been installed a couple of years ago. the systems have to run. This is the only way to check that the equipment is running properly, and also is the only way for the crew to have a familiarization and to know how to operate the system. This is another very nice topic. Yesterday morning I had a telephone call from one of our clients telling me, I have installed a system a couple of years ago in a new building that the AMS is expiring in a couple of months. What shall I do? Okay, there are a few things that you can do to delay, but it's most probable that you have to remove the system and install a new one. So we have retrofits on board ships that they are already installed with ballast water treatment systems. Another important issue is the maintenance of the system. The clients have installed the system, most probably some of them they run, but okay, we are at the beginning of this process, but after a couple of years, the systems will require maintenance, and after a couple of years, port state controls are going to do tests. How do we ensure that we maintain our system in order to perform as per type approval certificates? This requires some planning, some execution, and some, let's say, agreement with the companies that have fabricated and manufactured the system and hopefully still exist, you know. So that was from my side, our feedback regarding ballast water treatment system retrofits. Thank you.